Okay, so I chose Charlotte's Web because I think it is just a classic book. I think that it can speak to a lot of students of different grade levels because there's so many adults that still love reading this book. So I thought this was an amazing book to incorporate into a third grade classroom. Now I know this book talks about things like life, death, adventures, life lessons, compassion, love, friendship, all that good stuff. So I really think that third graders are mature enough to be reading about this stuff, where first and second graders, they still might be too young to really understand the concept and the meanings and the message behind this story. Third graders, I feel like, will be less dependent on teacher support for them to kind of see the underlining message and things behind in between the lines, where first and second graders, they definitely would really need that teacher support to really show them exactly the details and lessons and messages that this story has. So I would definitely pick third grade for teaching this book. Now, the standard that I would have that goes along to this book is LAFS3RL13, which says describe characters in a story and explain how their actions contribute to the sequence of events. So I think that is such a good standard to incorporate and use with this story, because even in the first chapter you can really see it, and students can take this standard and apply it to the book in the very first chapter. So what I mean by that is, in the very first chapter you get introduced to Fern, her brother Avery, the parents, and Wilbur. So it's really interesting because it mentions throughout the first chapter that Fern was an early riser. You can tell by the illustrations. Fern is compassionate, she is loving, she takes care of animals. You know, she just has a lot of love and nurturing characteristics, where her brother was described as sleeping in, you gotta eat breakfast, you're running late for school. He came down he came down from upstairs carrying a rifle and a dagger. You know, he was saying, well, can I have a pig too? Like, kind of hinting that, you know, I can get us some more breakfast and some more bacon. So you can really already see the difference between some characters and how their actions contribute to the story. So for example, Fern was able to get up early and stop her father right before her father killed Wilbur, where if her brother Avery got up early and Fern slept in, there would be no story. Wilbur would probably be dead already. So that is super interesting, and obviously there are so many other main characters throughout the story, like Wilbur, Charlotte, and all the other farm animals and stuff. So this idea and this standard can only be taken further and further and further, and applied to so many more different things in this book. But that's just one example right off the bat. I mean, if the teacher reads one chapter, you kind of go through different activities to kind of really talk about that first chapter, and have students develop a clear idea of the characters, so things kind of make sense throughout the story, so they're not so confused maybe still about some of the characters. They can focus on other things like new characters, new events, new settings. What else? So yeah, I think this is a book that is a quality read because it teaches students so many things that they could apply in their own lives. Maybe they're going through something similar, not necessarily maybe their father killing a pig, but something, whether it's something to do with friendship or loss, and they can really apply what they have read and learned about Charlotte's Web and apply it to their own life. So I think this would be an amazing book to teach third graders, and for third graders to really understand the idea of characters and the weight that they play in a story.